Signing up for Facebook. I'd like you to watch me over my shoulder as I go ahead and sign up for a Facebook account. It's really easy to do, but just to be safe, I'm sorry about that. I thought it'd be easiest if you watched me. So let's go ahead and do that. Just simply by going to Facebook.com. If you don't already have an account, and you might. And one question might be also is if you already have a personal account, should you be creating a new account for your business venture? And that's really up to you. Personally, that's what I did just because I wanted to keep my friends and business things separate. If it's something that's more related to you as a person, maybe you want to do it. That's really up to you. But you need your first name, last name, and of course your email address. Now it needs to be an email address that you have access to, and every time people contact you, it's nice to get updates from Facebook. So you want to make sure that you go ahead and supply the information that you're going to be able to use. Okay, now of course I have to prove that I'm not a robot. Hit sign up, and then that should be about it. I'm signed up for Facebook now. How easy was that, huh? Now, part of the sign up process also is this thing comes up here. Are your friends already on Facebook? What they allow you to do is enter your email information. They search your email account to find if you have any other friends in your email list that are already on Facebook. This is a fast way if you're comfortable with it. And of course, if you're connecting in Facebook as a way to find other friends of yours, this is a fast way to find people on Facebook rather than entering their emails yourself. It's a neat thing. You don't have to do it, but it's nice that they have that option there. Now we want to fill out our high school and college company. Now, of course, if you're a business, you might not want to be filling this stuff out because it's a different it's a different approach. But if you're looking to connect with other people from your school, certainly you want to make sure that you're doing that. I'm going to skip it for now. Last but certainly not least, you want to go ahead and enter your profile picture. You don't have to do this, but I strongly recommend that you at least put something on here, just because if you look, everybody else has a picture on there, and I know that when I'm interacting with other people, if they don't have a picture, it really takes things away from it. It doesn't make it feel as personal. So as far as my theory in business, I try to put myself out there, and a part of that, is putting a face with a name or a voice or whatever. So I encourage you to go ahead and do that. So, just take a moment and find a photo. If you don't want to put a photo of yourself, and it may be one that represents your business, you can do that too. It can even be something like a logo. I'm going to skip that for now, but certainly be going back to do that. Okay, then there you go. At this point now we can go ahead and start using Facebook. You see here it says your account is not yet confirmed, so we do want to go ahead and do that. That means it's as simple as going to your email and checking you got a message from Facebook. You have to click a link in there to verify that you are who you say you are, and then your account is verified and you can start using Facebook to its fullest potential. Facebook for businesses. Many businesses use Facebook quite successfully, I might add, to promote their business, to gain more business. Let me go ahead and show you an example. TGI Fridays, a popular restaurant, something that they're doing on Facebook is they're saying, become a fan on Facebook, get a free burger, and of course they have a goal to get so many fans by a certain date. So basically what happens is then on websites, a lot of businesses you see promoting their Facebook pages. Now this is a fan page. It's a little bit different than a friends page, but we'll talk about that shortly. But essentially what happens here is just want to show you an example. Here they've created this friend page. And of course the goal here is to get people to join, so they give people something for free. And then we can also see here that people are posting on the wall of this page here. And of course they're making posts about the burger. I hope I get my free burger. Where's my coupon? All these different things. So again, you can see here that they've already gotten 70,000 fans, so it's certainly working. But essentially, this is what you do as a business. You create something that's fun. You create something that's going to match for people. So then what would happen is, people might see this on other, like say, I join this up, and I'm hoping to get the free burger, of course, and then my friends see that I'm on here, and you know what, my friends like burgers too, so and they're going to see that I'm on here, so they're going to sign up too. So that's one clever way that businesses are using it. Another way that businesses use it is by creating groups. There might be a group, based on dog training, and of course that can be a great way to interact with other people that have dogs, especially if your business is selling some type of dog training product. So I'm sure that your mind's starting to spin around at the possibilities here of things. Facebook, works very well in the business field, and what we're going to do is we're going to move forward and talk a bit more about the basics of Facebook, how to create an account and all that, and then we'll move forward and start to talk about how you can be using Facebook specifically to make money. An overview of the ways to market on Facebook. There are actually a lot of different ways that you can go about marketing on Facebook. We'll be talking about them in depth as we move forward, but I just wanted to throw them out now so you can be thinking in your mind, what you can be doing on Facebook, and maybe, some of these will be a better match for your business than others. Of course, you can send messages to friends. So, we're going to go out, and the goal is going to be to get as many friends as we can, whether that's through a fan page, a group, or whatever. But the thing is, once you have these people as your friends, you can send messages to them. On the other token, you cannot send messages to people that are not your friends. This is something that helps Facebook be more secure. There are other social networking sites out there that you can send messages to everybody, and that just opens the door up to spam. That with this, you need to consent and be someone's friend before they can message you, which certainly helps make things a lot tighter in Facebook. Creating and or participating in groups. This is a fantastic way. You of course can create a group of your own. We'll talk about that, and give people a reason to come join it. And then you have control of the group, and you have people interacting with one another. But of course, at the center of it can be your business, which you'll be promoting, of course. Creating and distributing an application. We'll also talk about this. This can be a very powerful way. Applications are really popular, and doesn't even need to be your own application. You can take one that's popular and modify it a bit. And we'll talk about that. Not stealing it, but there's some applications that allow you to make your own surveys and things like that. I guess I should have said. That's not really an application. It's using an application, but essentially, this is a way that you can go about gaining exposure. You can even have your own application developed from scratch too, which people do and are very successful with it. Utilizing the news feed. We'll talk about what the news feed is, but basically what happens is when people are on something such as your fan page and you make a post to your wall, your post appears in their news feed, and it's a very effective way to get people's attention. Customizing your profile. Okay, now I went ahead and actually created an account on Facebook just for the purpose of this video. It's not my actual account, so I don't encourage you to go out and try to find me because I won't respond. This is just a bit of a fake thing, I guess I could say. We can see here that's also not my picture, but wanted to have a picture to demonstrate that. So essentially, this is my profile. I signed up. The first thing I want to show you is the settings. If you click over here, the settings, this is visible on every page. I can go into my account settings, and in this we can see a couple different things, of course, that we can change as well. Okay, so there's the name. If you ever wanted to change your name, of course, your username, email, and whatnot. Networks is really important. This is where you can hook up with other people that you went to school with, that that you work with. A lot of different things can be a network, even sometimes a business. So, and of course, if you're starting your own business and trying to get the word out about something, it certainly doesn't hurt to get your friends on board with it as well. So you can go ahead and type in, the name of your school, and then it will search, for those possible schools here. Let's see. Just type that word, and you can see all these different networks are coming up. And then, of course, I can join one, and then go into there and find other people on that network and request that they become my friend. Under notifications, we can go ahead and select how we want to be notified. If somebody sends me a message, do I want to know that? If somebody wants to be my friend. Of course, if you don't like getting the emails, they can go ahead and change these things as well. Lots of different options to play around with here. Also, if you want to be notified by text on your cell phone, you can do that too, which is kind of cool. And then here under mobile, of course, is more information about that as well. Language, I think is self-explanatory. Payments. There is an option where you can send gifts to people. It does cost money. It's not something that I do because, I guess because it costs money. I think there are a lot of different things out there that you can do already that are free that are just as cool. However, if you ever wanted to send a gift to someone, I know that some businesses do send gifts through Facebook to their clients. Maybe after you got a client or after you just did a big job for them, you certainly can do that. If they don't know that you spend any money, I think that part of the effect is lost a little bit. But still, it's an option. It's something that people do, experiment with. To reach my profile, just click on this here. And I want to talk about what you can change here on your profile. Of course, right here, this is what's under your picture. This is a very important box right here. Of course, to write something, you just click on it, and then you can write. And I do want to point out here that you can put a link here. So, for example, if I just type this, I'm just going to click outside of here, you'll see here that it is not clickable. So if you were to write your site like that, that's not a good idea. You actually need to write the whole link by including the HTTP ://. There you go. Okay, I'll click outside of here, and now if I hold my cursor over it, you see I can click it, and of course it passes through Facebook, but then bam, here's Google. So now of course I'm not going to link to Google on my profile, but the goal here is that you can have your business here. So whatever you're promoting, have it here. I definitely encourage it. I would encourage you to have some descriptive text about it at first. This is also a good spot to put something like, join up for my mailing list to receive a free, whatever. And you say that. So of course, then they're drawn to click on here to get that bonus. You want to give people, every time that you can help it, you want to give people a reason to check something out that you have. Okay, so moving forward here, you can see that there's a lot of different information on this page here. Of course, I can edit my information here, which is just the birthday at this point. That's not my real birthday, by the way. So put away the gifts. Okay, I'm going to click on Info and show you. You can see here there isn't much listed here, is there? I'm going to hit Edit Information, and there's a lot more that I can put in here than I have already. Basic information, personal information, contact information. Of course, what you're looking for. I want to encourage you to fill out as much of this as you can, just because it's going to help you seem more real. I know that when I've looked at businesses on here before, or somebody that has a business, I just think it's neat to learn something more about someone. It makes them seem like more of a real person. Perhaps they'll have the same interests as me, or the same favorite TV shows. I also want to note that here again you can be putting links in here. So if I do this here and then save it, okay, hit done editing, and there you go. So now you can see again that is you can click on. So moving forward, so again, the About Me is an important spot that you can use as well. Education and work, might be important to you. Again, it's really going to depend on your business and what you want to be sharing, what you're promoting. Of course, I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of that. If I'm a dog trainer, I'm trying to get people to understand that. I want to make sure that I show my worth here. Talk about the credentials that I have as a dog trainer. Maybe talk a bit about my experience. The high points of my career, things like that, because it's going to make you appear more marketable. Contact information also is a good thing to fill in, just because I think it's good to give people multiple ways of contacting you if you want to. If you're a huge corporation, maybe you don't want to be doing that, but I think it certainly helped me in business to give additional information out here. I wouldn't suggest putting your home phone, of course, but your business address, of course, obviously your website, the different things there. See the link there for create a Facebook badge for your website. We're going to talk about that a bit later, but that's really important to do. But there's a handy dandy link to do it, but we'll talk about that later, so don't worry about that now. Photos is also a nice thing to have. You see people on a personal level sharing a lot of photos about what they've done, but if you were a business, maybe you just had some type of event at your business, why not have a photo album for that? It helps to show interactivity of your business, or you can have pictures of the inside of your business, or things that you've done, things that you've accomplished. Again, it's very easy to upload photos, and it certainly helps make things more flashy. I think that the important thing to understand is that a profile should have substance to it. When people come there, you want to give them what they're looking for, help them understand more about you and also more about your business. So that's really important to understand. The wall here, the Facebook wall, we're going to talk about that in a minute, but just wanted to talk about the profile here. Of course, so take some time. I encourage you to go out and set up your own profile. Look at some other profiles out there on the net. That's also very helpful to understand, to see what other people are doing and how they're angling things as well. understanding your personal Facebook wall. Okay, this is really, really important stuff now that we're talking about. We talked about the profile here, how we can, have things on the side here, but your wall, this is kind of like picture if you lived in an apartment complex and you had a bulletin board outside, or maybe a cork board outside of your door. Everybody had one. That would mean that anytime someone stopped by, they could leave you a note, leave you a message, and then of course anybody walking by could see. And this reminds me of, a lot of times this happens in college. You have a board and people, write posts or whatever, and of course everybody can see it. This is exactly what this wall is meant for. It's a way that other people can leave you messages. You can leave messages for other people, but the thing is, everybody gets to see it. So, what happens then is, let's say, for example, that you have a business and you're promoting something. Other people can come on here and say, hey, listen, I loved your, such and such. And then that helps with the social proofing. Because when other people come here, they're going to see, hey, wow, these customers are leaving, nice remarks on this wall here, that this must be good stuff. And then, of course, it's going to help with your credibility. Obviously, if somebody shares something that is not good, you have the ability to delete it. So you have complete control over this, just like you would have control over your corkboard at your business. So that's really cool. So that's what the wall is. So again, key things to keep in mind: you can make posts on your own wall. You just write here. There we go. Not very exciting and just a demonstration to you, but this is things that you can put on your wall are things like, of course, we're having a sale today on such and such. I just started trying this new product, such and such. There's lots of different things that you can put on your wall, and your wall posts, other people leave them, but also you write your own stuff, and when people come to your page, they're going to see this. Of course, if you don't like that, you can remove it. Lickety split and it's gone. Okay, and then there we go, and there's another new post. So again, all my friends, can see this, and actually all of my friends were just notified that I made this post, or they're notified in a feed, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But shortly, you're going to see how this is all connected, and it's very amazing. But the point is, again, your wall is a place for other people to be conversing with you, but it's also a place that you can be talking about your own products and services and whatnot, and it helps with interactivity. It's different than a website, because a website, you just go out there and you promote your product and that's it. But on Facebook, you get your chance to do your pitch, but then you have the interaction with their clientele, which is incredibly important, and it's one of the reasons why this networking works so well. Now let's go ahead and look at someone else's page so I can show you what a wall looks like that's a bit more filled out than my sad empty wall. Okay, I apologize that a good bit of this is not be able to be for you to be viewed, but that had to be done for privacy reasons. But I wanted to be able to show you a profile that has a lot more filled in. Essentially, this is the person's wall. So you can see here, this is the account owner. They wrote, "I should have had children. I could have sold them." So I'm not sure what this is referring to. Some type of joke. You can see here that they did some type of survey here. Here, this person's saying, thank you for dinner. Tomorrow I'll have dinner for all of us, blah, blah, blah. And then you can see that the page owner commented. Whenever somebody writes on your wall, you are able to write a comment about that. So, even I could come on here and write, I like something on this person's page, and then I can write as well. Let's say, for example, I should have children, I could have sold them. I could write something here. That is just too crazy. Okay, and there we go, and my comment will be posted. So again, it's a way to interact with the people that are on your list. So, it goes back and forth like this. If this stuff doesn't make sense, you just have to bear with it and give it a try, because people really get into this stuff, and the back and forth, which is why it's very important to be interacting with the people that are coming interaction with you, especially in the beginning, because you start to build things up, and then people see that you're going to be interactive. They're going to take part in the banter, in the play back and forth, and they're going to tell their friends, and their friends are going to see, and they're going to pass it on, and before you know it, you have a zillion friends. So again, that's how the wall works. It's all about interaction. It's also about positioning yourself as an expert and showing that you're accessible, and of course, anytime that you can, trying to promote your product. So we're going to move forward then with talking about the other features of Facebook and how you can best use them to promote. The power of the newsfeed. The newsfeed just might be the most important aspect of social networking, Facebook, simply because it is a way to interact with the other people, on your list that are friends with, very easily. Essentially, what happens is everybody that is my friend, whenever I log into Facebook, you can see here that the home page for Facebook is what's known as the news feed, and that's basically all this stuff here. And what happens is every time one of my friends does something on their wall, it shows up on here in my feed. Now think about that for a second. That means that when I made this post here that you saw in the last video to sign up for Facebook, how cool, that was broadcast to everybody. So you might ask yourself, who looks at this? And I'll tell you what, I look at this on my personal account all the time, and I guarantee a lot of other people do. So this is a way that, when you post on your wall, you're not just counting on people coming to visit you. You're putting it out there to them. So this is an incredibly powerful way to keep in touch with people, which is why whenever, you can be posting to your wall on a regular basis, talking about, your specials, or giving out tips about, let's say this dog training. If I was going to approach the dog training, what I would do is, I would make posts on my wall on a regular basis, just giving out some free advice, about dog training, and then of course interjecting information about my course. And also, when you write on your wall, you can have a link too, so you can be, trying to get people on your list, or whatever. Basically, just keep that in mind. What I would do is, once you start to get into this, look and see what other people are doing, and then think about how you can use that for your business. But again, the power of the newsfeed is everything that you do on Facebook on your wall is going to show up in other people's feeds. Now, there are some people that will disable it. Anybody that's in your feed, you can choose to not have them show up. But I got to tell you, most people don't even know that option exists. You might have been using Facebook for a while and be surprised that you can do that. If I don't like this person here, I can just go over here to hide, and then remove them from my feed, which is actually very handy if somebody's annoying. So keep that in mind too. Do not be annoying. But again, the feed is an incredibly powerful thing. It's a way to keep putting yourself in front of people, which also goes back to the importance of needing to update things on a regular basis. So please keep all that in mind and use the feed, to its most potential as we move forward with deciding how to market on Facebook. Finding and adding friends. Okay, so now that you have your profile and you're ready to move forward, it's time to start getting friends. Basically, all we need to do is find friends that we think would be a good match for what we're trying to do, and then be asked to befriend them. And I think you're going to find that most of the time people will become your friend, as long as you don't scare them off in the process, I guess I should say. So how do we find people? In the upper right hand corner there's a search box. I'm just going to go ahead and type in New York. You can search by, for schools. You can search, of course, by names. What this comes up is everything that's related to New York. So you can also filter the results here by people, pages, groups, applications, events, and we're going to talk more specifically shortly about fan pages and groups, what the difference is, how to use them, and all that good stuff. But for this point, I just want to show you again that this is all about how to find people. So let's say, for example, that you have a business that's in New York City. Well, here is a fan page for New York City. So there's almost 1 million people on this page. Let's just click on this here. And there are all the people that are a member of this group. That is incredible. So what I could do is I can just start befriending them, because if they're friends of New York City, they probably hopefully live in New York City, or used to live, and is a potential person that I want to expose my business to. So I just go ahead and start adding them as friends. I click add friend, and of course this person has to first confirm it. I'm going to hit send request, and there we go. Now I do have to enter this CAPTCHA here to show that I am real, which I am. Hit submit, and there you go. The reason for this, of course, is so people don't sit down and use software to invite a zillion friends at once. So we can do this. Again, it's helpful to find people that are going to be people that you want to be interacting with, and then you do this. Now, I know that you're thinking this all looks like it's going to take a lot of time, and yeah, it does take time. However, this is all about getting the ball rolling, because what happens then is you go out and let's say you get these initial first 100 friends, and then you give them good content, and then they're going to tell their friends, or their friends are going to find out about you from their friends page, and before you know it, you have something viral on your hands. So that part's up to you, capturing the viralness of Facebook. But this is an excellent way to get things going. Welcome to Social Networking Supercharged. In this video series, we're going to take an in-depth look at Facebook and how you can use Facebook to make money online. Facebook is an incredibly powerful place. I'm sure that you've seen lots of other people, businesses using it, and there's a reason that they do that simply because it works. So let's go ahead then and talk specifically about what Facebook is. Facebook is essentially a free social networking service where people can network, keep in touch with friends, and more. Basically, it's one of the things it's most popular for is that people use it as a way to keep in touch with people that they went to school with, that they went to college with, and so forth. But it has grown into a huge networking arena where you see a lot of businesses having Facebook pages. Not just pages, but there are also other things such as fan pages, groups. It is the most popular social networking site on the planet, so there's a lot of people using it, and there are also a lot of opportunities on there to make money. Facebook is located at facebook.com. Essentially, it does not cost a dime to sign up for Facebook, which is fantastic. And actually, all of the techniques that we talk about in this video series will not cost you anything, meaning that there should be nothing holding you back from going out, creating an account on Facebook, and starting to build up friends. And when I say friends, I mean people that hopefully are going to be interested in what you're selling. We're going to talk about how to position yourself on Facebook. So you're going to be able to get some sales. We'll talk about how to find people to add to your group or to your friends page as friends, that people that are hopefully going to be interested in buying your product. We'll also talk about how to use the more advanced features of Facebook too, the differences between things like a fan page and a group, lots of different things. And when you get done with this video series, the goal is that you can go out there and start making money from Facebook right away. So let's go ahead and get started. The next video will talk about specifically why you should be using Facebook. I'll see you there. Why you need to be using Facebook now. I emphasize the now there. Advantages include: it is currently the most popular social network. This is huge. Social networking is basically, you hear people talking about Web 2.0, social marketing, social networking. This is what it's all about. Facebook is the most popular place to go, and you will find that the traffic is incredible. People on it are used to Facebook marketing. When I say this, sometimes I know that I've dealt with spots on the internet where I try to market to people and they're not used to it, and of course they're not going to be as accepting of it. Whereas with Facebook, there are a lot of businesses already on there, very well established, doing very well, meaning that we can go out there and do it, and people are going to be used to marketing. It's kind of like if you use the search engines. You're used to seeing ads on Google. So I don't want you to think that people only use Facebook to connect with friends, because Facebook is also a place where you can be selling things and you fit right in. Facebook has unique features that lend itself to marketing. We're going to talk about this specifically, but things like having a Facebook group, for example. There's an option where you can email everybody, private message on Facebook, everyone at once. You don't have to sit down and type everyone's individual email in. You can, bam, email them all at once. And again, this doesn't cost anything, so I think it's incredible that you can do those types of things. There's much more that we'll talk about as we move forward. It is easy to find targeted people for your niche. There are some tools that I'm going to share with you on how to search Facebook. There's some little tips and tricks on how to find people that are going to be, very similar to what you're promoting. Then, of course, you can hopefully get them to join your group or join you as a friend. And then, of course, you can, start to build a relationship with them and hopefully get them to buy something from you. So there are so many reasons that you should be using it. Including that there are free apps to take your experience further. But there are a lot of people that design things strictly for Facebook, and they don't cost anything. And in fact, you might even consider making your own application. We'll talk about that a bit later. But essentially, there you go. There are a lot of good reasons that you should be using it. So I hope that you'll keep that in mind, and we'll go ahead and move forward. Welcome to Social Networking Supercharged. In this video series, we're going to take an in-depth look at Facebook and how you can use Facebook to make money online. Facebook is an incredibly powerful place. I'm sure that you've seen lots of other people, businesses using it, and there's a reason that they do that, simply because it works. So let's go ahead then and talk specifically about what Facebook is. Facebook is essentially a free social networking service where people can network, keep in touch with friends, and more. Basically, it's one of the things it's most popular for is that people use it as a way to keep in touch with people that they went to school with, that they went to college with, and so forth. But it has grown into a huge networking arena where you see a lot of businesses having Facebook pages. Not just pages, but there are also other things such as fan pages, groups. It is the most popular social networking site on the planet, so there's a lot of people using it, and there are also a lot of opportunities on there to make money. Facebook is located at facebook.com. Essentially, it does not cost a dime to sign up for Facebook, which is fantastic. And actually, all of the techniques that we talk about in this video series will not cost you anything, meaning that there should be nothing holding you back from going out, creating an account on Facebook, and starting to build up friends. And when I say friends, I mean people that hopefully are going to be interested in what you're selling. We're going to talk about how to position yourself on Facebook. So you're going to be able to get some sales. We'll talk about how to find people to add to your group or to your friends page as friends, that people that are hopefully going to be interested in buying your product. We'll also talk about how to use the more advanced features of Facebook too, the differences between things like a fan page and a group, lots of different things. And when you get done with this video series, the goal is that you can go out there and start making money from Facebook right away. So let's go ahead and get started. The next video will talk about specifically why you should be using Facebook. I'll see you there. Fan pages versus groups. Essentially, there are two main ways that you can branch out from your personal profile to promote a business: fan pages and groups. Let's go ahead and let me show you an example of each here. We talked in the last video about the New York City fan page. Let's go ahead and look at it. I'm sure that you've seen these before. Basically, there can be fan pages for singers, for movies, for, as you see here, cities, anything that you can imagine. And they can become very, very popular. Now, a group, on the other hand, let's go back here. A group, on the other hand, is more like a board, a forum. Let's just filter by groups here. Okay, you know where you're from New York City when. Okay, so this is just for fun group where New York City people, hang out. The thing about a group is, of course, it's more interactive, because what happens is you go in here and it's just like a forum or a bulletin board. There are a lot of posts that go on. You can converse with other people. So, a group encourages more interaction. So let's talk then specifically about the differences between the two of these, because if you're a business or you're trying to start a business on Facebook, you might be saying to yourself, which way do I go? What should I create here? Okay, well, starting with fan pages, you gain exposure through the search engines. Facebook is a closed community, meaning that, I create a profile on Facebook and somebody from the internet can only see my profile if they're my friend. This is a mistake that MySpace made, because anybody can see anybody's MySpace page, generally speaking, by default, and things didn't work out so well for MySpace. Facebook has overtaken them because it's more private, and this fan pages is a way to bring that back, because the problem is, your Facebook page could be, incredible, have lots of great information, but the search engines are not going to see it. And if you've done a lot of marketing for your website, I'm sure that you know that it's a good thing to have as many things in the search engines as you can. So having a fan page that is actually ranked in the search engines can be a great tool that you have, because it can get you exposure from the actual search engines. So long story short, if you have a fan page for your business, ideally when somebody does a search on Google for your business, your Facebook fan page will come up, which gives people an immediate way to see that you're a pretty cool business, and you have this fan page and you have all these fans. You must be credible. It does not allow you to do mass messaging to everyone that is a fan. Now, groups can. We're going to talk about that in a minute, but this is a big setback of fan pages, because obviously it would be great when you have fans if you could send everybody a message at once, and you can't do that with fan pages. So keep that in mind. Wall posts show up in members' news feeds. This is a huge, huge positive, and unfortunately a negative for the groups that we'll talk about in a second. But whenever you make a post on your fan page, it shows up in everybody's news feed, meaning that it's a fantastic way to to reach all these people. Okay, now, groups cannot be indexed by search engines, so that's a strike against groups. They do allow you to message everyone at once, up to 5,000 people. So if your group grows to be more than that, then you can't do the mass messaging anymore. However, especially when you're just starting, you need all the help that you can get, and being able to message everyone at once is really really cool. Trust me, it's in fact you could pay a lot of money to gain the software to be able to message 5,000 people safely at once. And here Facebook's giving it to you for free, so that's a great thing to have. Wall posts do not show up in members' news feeds. This is a huge negative. Okay, so what's the solution then? I'll tell you what, I have to recommend that you do both. I'm not saying that you need to do both from the beginning. I would say start out with a fan page just to get things going. And then once you start to have people, create a group. Because if you're going to have more people to move into the group from the beginning, you can, hit up your fan page. And then you're going to have the group start off with more people right from the start. Because I don't know if you've ever been in a forum or there isn't much going on, it's boring and you leave and you never come back. You don't want that to happen. So start out with a fan page, build it up and then create a group. And then you can take advantage of the unique marketing aspects that both have. And I think you're going to find that a lot of people do things this way. So, as you move forward, if you find that one of them is not as much of a fit for you, then you can focus more on the other. But I think it's good to get your hands in both because there's certain reasons to be using both. Finding and joining groups. Okay, now we're going to talk more specifically about groups and how of course we can use them to take our business forward on Facebook. So again, I'm going to go to the search bar here and do a search. Now let's say that my mission is to sell a dog training products. That's what my marketing is going to be geared towards. Okay, no problem. I type in dog training. You can see here filter the results by groups, and multiple dog training groups come up. Okay, so these groups are going to be really focused on dog training. If I backed things out and just did a search for dog, I'm going to find humongous sized groups, not as niche specific, but still, I love my dog. Okay, that's pretty cool. I would think that people in that group, are certainly dog fanatics, so that's certainly something that I would want to consider targeting. But I could take things further too, with dog training. And then we have groups that are a lot smaller, 782 members. Okay. So to join the group, I just go ahead and join that group. And then from here, of course, you can go in. Here's the discussion board. There's 108 discussion topics. And if you're an expertise dog trainer, you can go in here and start reading things that people are posting. Preparing for second dog. I'm sure this is a common problem that people have. And then you can read, and then of course you can post advice to someone, and then ideally people in this group are going to come, they're going to see the advice that you posted and say, wow, such and such really knows their stuff about dog training, and they're going to add you as a friend. And then of course you have your unique position to be promoting your products. Maybe you have some dog training videos that you created, or let's say that I take a broader approach, and the product that I'm selling is actually there's a popular ClickBank product about how to create your own dog food from homemade dog food, simply because there's been a lot of concern over the processing dog food. Is it really safe? Is it hurting your dog? Okay, so looking at some more general dog groups here, just this group is just called dog, 1,000 members. And you can spend some time. There's over 500 results, so you can find ones that are huge. Here's one, for animal abuse, dog cruelty. That might not be, of course, as good of a match. But of course, you go into these groups here, and again, I could be marketing things like dog food. Dog food, of course, there's a lot of concern about buying over-the-counter dog food because of the chemicals and the processing and all that stuff. So there are products out there that teach you how to make your own dog food. So if the connection here is that all these people in this group have dogs, or at the very least love dogs. These are the people that I want to be putting myself in front of. So again, I just go into these groups and just start interacting. Another thing that I can do, even without joining the group, I have access to everybody that's in each group here. I just click on that, and again, there they come up, and I can go ahead and just start adding them as friends and hoping that they'll add me back. And again, you're going to find out that not everybody's going to add you, but a lot of people will, and then that puts you in their sights, and you can be marketed to them as well. You can even go as far as posting on their walls, though you want to be careful with that, because they might just, if you're too forceful, they might just say, hey, you know what, I don't want to be your friend anymore, sorry. So you're going to learn, of course it's going to depend on your niche as well, but you're going to have to feel things out. Again, you want to keep in mind that doing these things in the beginning is going to take more time on your end, but once things start rolling for you, as long as you have good content and give people a good reason to be hanging out with you, then things are really going to multiply for you, which is exactly what you want. And honestly, that's what social networking is all about. Creating a group. Okay, now that we've talked about how to join groups, it's time to start creating our own groups. To create a group, all you need to do is, of course, from your home profile here, you're going to click on info and then groups. Here you can see there's the dog training group that I signed up for. Click see all, and here we go. Create group. There we go. Anybody can create a group. You don't need to wait 1 week or anything like that. You can right from the start. So, okay, group name. You want to make sure that it's descriptive, because remember, when we search for dog training groups, one popped up, dog training, and I was all like, wow, that's a perfect fit for my niche. So again, whatever your group is about, you want to make it descriptive right in the name. Now, of course, it might be helpful to have the descriptive be catchy too. So let's see, something like dog training, help my dog get under control. Okay, so I think that people see that and it might catch their eye more. Description, of course, here is where I'm going to make a more detailed description. Maybe I could say something like, I'm a esteemed trainer of 10 years, much accomplished, helped a lot of people with their dogs. Just things to help add credibility. Essentially, something to give people a good reason to join your group. Also, take a look at the other groups that are out there and think about what you can do to set your group apart from those, because of course you're going to be different. Okay, group type. You're just going to select what fits you there. I'm going to hit common interest for mine. And then type here. Let's see, is there an animals one? Pets and animals, okay. Recent news, maybe something that happened in your business recently. Something that's going to continue to add credibility and value to reasons why people should join your group. An office address, where your office is, and also, your email. That's up to you. If you want people to have this, by all means put it in. But if you don't want people to have this at this point, then leave it out. You don't have to have it in. And then you just go ahead and click create group, and then you're all set. Your group is created, and you can move on to the next video, which is going to be how to promote your group. Growing your group. Now that you have your group, it's time to hopefully get it to grow. So how can we go ahead and do that? Well, you want to make your group interesting. This is so much a key part of things. If your group is boring and you don't give people a good reason to come in, those that do come in, they're gonna fall asleep, not be interested in hanging around, interacting with you, and helping your group move forward. So make sure that you make it interesting. This includes you becoming involved and also offering real value to your group. And something that I found when I start things like this, it's similar to starting a forum. You have to get the ball rolling yourself sometimes. You might need to call a few favors into some of your friends to get them to come in and help you, hype things up. Maybe ask them to post a couple questions in the group so you can start conversing with them. Once people see that there's interaction going on, they're going to feel more comfortable joining in and joining the fun. Offer a reason for people to join. If you are, let's continue to go with the dog training example, tell people that they would have a chance to be interacting with a professional dog trainer and get this advice for free. Obviously your end goal, your back end here is to get people to buy your product, but up front you can be answering some questions that people may have about dog training. And if I had a dog that was keeping me up at night, barking like crazy or biting my leg, I would be thrilled at the chance to converse with a professional dog trainer for free. So, it's an interesting idea. Encourage members to invite friends. Now, keep in mind that you want to promote your group everywhere. Put it on your wall, which if you've been following along, whenever you post something on your own personal page on the wall, that means that it's going to be appear in all of your friends' news feeds, which is going to spread things out further. You can also post on your friends' walls too. Hey, listen, why don't you check out my group? And then all their friends are going to see it too. So things can go viral quite quickly. Find similar groups and promote to those members. Again, this is one of those things where you gotta get started somewhere. So try to find a group that's a good match for you. Now, of course, if you create a group on dog training and you're promoting to other people that are already in a dog training group, you have to think long and hard about what you're going to bring, value-wise to them, because they're already in a dog training group. It's kind of like, if you already get, a magazine on dog training, do you really need two? So you have to keep that in mind, and of course that goes back to you having a good reason to get people to come into your group. Advertise your group on your webpage. We're going to talk about this, a bit later, but there are specific, it's very easy to create a badge, something on your site, and then, of course, promote the group, because if you have a website, you want to take advantage of that and let people know that you have this, this wonderful resource on Facebook. And then just keep in mind that the people that come through your web page, if you don't have this, hopefully they'll come to your web page and maybe they'll buy your book. But if you can get them on Facebook, then you're not only selling to them but all of their friends as well. So just keep that in mind, and the power of Facebook. What are fan pages? We talked now extensively about groups, but now it's time to take a look more so at fan pages. So looking at dogs, continue with that popular theme. Let's just filter this by fan pages. Anybody can make a fan page. There are certain stipulations. For example, if you were to make a fan page for a popular music artist, you need to have that person's permission to do so. But obviously, anybody can make a fan page on dogs. So you can see here, a fan page. First of all, we looked at the different groups about dogs, and you know what? They were a heck of a lot smaller than this. This dog fan page has almost 1 million people in it. This one here, almost 300,000. That's incredible. So there's a lot of people that get into this fan stuff. So of course, what do these fan pages look like? Well, keep in mind that they are accessible, from the internet as well. But basically, a fan page is more similar to an actual Facebook page. We talked about groups, and a group is more like a forum or a message board, whereas a fan page is more like your traditional Facebook page, with a few differences, of course. But a fan page has a wall that this fan page has chosen not to utilize. So you know what? That's not the best example, is it? I want to show you, something with a bit more in it. It's giving me trouble going back here. Okay, let's just start over the search. I apologize for the trouble there. Okay, filtered by fans. Okay, dogs and puppies. Maybe this will be a bit more fun, huh? So here on the wall you can see that people, are posting. So keep in mind that when you post to this wall, it's visible to all your fans. So that means that, this person that maintains this wall here, that maintains this fan page, they make one post and then they are instantaneously reaching out and appearing in the news feed of, close to 300,000 people. That is amazing. That is just simply amazing. Of course, on the wall, other people can post as well, which is pretty cool. Now, please note, if I were to post on here now, it would not appear to everybody's news feed. Just the owner of this fan page, of course. But still, people that come onto here, that will see it. So, this is a page that gets a lot of exposure. Of course, on this fan page, you also have info, and this person, has links for more information about dogs. Obviously, you can be gearing it towards information about your product or whatever. You can see that there are some discussions going on here. A place for photos, also a place for video. A video can also help to add credibility. Perhaps you have videos that you've done. By all means, put them up. And also see that there are reviews. You can put, why not put testimonials if you have them for your business. So you can see here there are a lot of unique aspects of the fan page. But of course, the biggest thing is just being able to interact with people on such a grand scale. Also, a fan page does get its own URL, which anybody can access, which is also really, really helpful. You can see this handy dandy box here that anybody that's a Facebook person immediately recognizes. Become a fan, and we'll talk briefly in a bit about how to actually put that on your own website, which is really cool as well. Creating a fan page. And remember, I had talked before about the groups and fan pages, and I do believe that you want to have both of these for your business, but start by making a fan page first. So how do you go about and do that? Well, you go to this URL here. It's it's facebook.com/pages/create.php, and that brings up this page here that you can access. And of course, create a new Facebook page. First, you need to decide, what it is. If you own a local business, you go ahead and do that. Or if it's a brand, product, or organization, of course, you can select that, and then the breakdown continues there. Or artist, band, or public figure. Of course, if you're doing this for a sports team or a comedian, any of those types of things. So let's go ahead. I guess my dog training thing. Let me think a bit here. I've never done one before. I guess a website thing, might be the best match. Yeah, I think I want to go ahead and do it for my website. Okay, and then of course the name of my website. So then that would go here. Whatever the site is that I'm promoting. Maybe it's dog training tips for you. Of course, this is made up, but just go with me here, folks. Then we need to add this here. Show that we're not a robot. Okay, I'm authorized to create this page. This is really important because essentially, they don't want, Madonna doesn't want somebody else creating a Madonna page saying they are Madonna. There's a lot of legal issues there. So you need to, of course, enter your information here and swear that you have the, the right to be doing this, of course. I'm going to go ahead and pause and do that. Okay, so I've gone ahead and created my fan page. Again, the ability to set up your fan page before you start inviting people and promoting it. You want to take some time to set things up. Obviously get a nice looking picture in here. Have some posts on your wall. Just go through here and look for the information that you can put in and think about how best you can represent yourself here. Again, keep in mind the whole, what is your goal in doing this? Of course, is your goal to sell something right on Facebook? Is your goal to get people to give you their email address and then you can promote to them, later? Is your goal just to get them to your website? Think about what your goal is and then, of course, gear your efforts towards that. And also keep in mind that this is a Facebook thing, not a website thing. So you want to adhere to the general Facebook rules and keep in mind what people coming here are going to be looking for, which means that they're not looking for a faceless person. They're looking for more information about you to feel more comfortable with you, and of course hoping that they're going to set up shop and start sharing stuff. So that's how you go ahead and create a fan page. We'll talk next about how to promote one. Building your fan page. Okay, just a few tips on how to get your fan page to grow once you've created it. Make your fan page interesting and fun. This is incredibly important. I know that sometimes we can get caught up in things, especially if you have a business mindset on, monetizing and just trying to have a good pitch for your sale. However, you got to keep in mind that a majority of the people that are on Facebook are there just to have fun, to interact and learn new things and explore and all that good stuff. Help to make the internet more of an interactive place rather than just a place of information. So keep that in mind, because if you're not gearing your page towards that, you're going to find that you're turning some people off. Offer a reason for people to join. You see oftentimes a lot of businesses doing things like, become a fan on Facebook and receive a special coupon discount, blah, 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 things like that. You can have things that people only have access to, once they become a fan. Then, of course, you deal that out. So, mention those types of things to them. You think you'll find, there's a big difference between, oh, hey, you know what, I think they look cool, maybe I'll become a fan. And then, of course, if you become a fan, I will give you this, or this is why you should become a fan, because I, do this to people that are fans. And of course, it's appealing, and then you're going to get people on the fence to, come on over to your side and join. Encourage members to invite friends. Don't be shy, don't be bashful. Just come right out and say, hey, listen, go tell your friends about such. And keep in mind, the fan page lends itself well to being able to promote yourself. You can post to your friends' walls, and then everybody, all their friends see it as well, which is really powerful also, and it helps to spread things out. Find similar groups, friends, fan pages, and promote to those members. And we talked about this as we've been moving forward, but it's all about finding people, in your same market, and then, of course, approaching them and showing them, you have some great stuff. Advertise your fan page on your web page. We're going to talk about this shortly, but essentially what this means is if you have other outlets that have traffic from the internet, tell them about your fan page, because trust me, you want this thing to grow as fast as possible. And any way that you can get traffic, you got to take it. It's one of those things where you got to hit the pavement, so to say, when you first start out, because it's going to take more time to get those initial members and to cultivate those members to bring in more members. But once you get it going, boy, it can really take off. So use every avenue that you can, including obviously advertising your fan page on your web page. Facebook networking tips. As you move forward, obviously Facebook is built on a principle of social networking, interacting with others. I just wanted to talk about a few basic tips as you begin to interact with others. You want to keep things natural. Nobody hates anything more than, becoming a friend to someone only to find out that they're 100% here to sell things. Now, believe me, I've set up profiles, and that's been my goal, 100% to sell something and make money, and I'm not doing this for fun. Of course, I have my own personal Facebook thing, and that's more of a fun thing, but you have to keep in mind that you have to be careful with these types of things, and you want to keep things natural, which means that you want to deliver value up front, and then, behind that, have some sort of upsell, meaning that you don't want to, just get a friend and then immediately be posting to them, hey, listen, buy my whatever. You want to show them that, this is a social thing, you care about, people that are your friends or that are on your fan page or group, and just keep things more natural. Try to be personal in your interactions, meaning that if you're going to take things on a one-on-one basis, maybe you have the time to do this, maybe you don't, and that's fine too. But let's say, for example, that you start conversing with some of the people that are your friends, go on there and learn more about them, and then when you send a message, mention things that show that you took the time to read their profiles and you are interested in, talking about, with them on more than a just, hey, buy this type of level. Put yourself out there. Don't appear shady or mysterious. If you're one of those people that's not going to fill in, the more of your information on your profile, people, they don't like that because they're already putting themselves out there, and it makes you more of a faceless company just promoting a product, whereas you want to be the exact opposite. Be consistent with your efforts. Once you get this ball rolling, of course it's going to take a life of its own, but you also need to be in there constantly, moving this forward. The goal here is that you're going to see that this really works, so hopefully you will be, able to continue to dedicate the time. But if you're up there and you're sharing things and all of a sudden that stops, that is going to hurt your business, so please keep that in mind. Promoting Facebook on your website. Now it's time to talk about how we can utilize platforms that you may already have in place, such as a website and also other places on the net that you can advertise your Facebook information. Adding Facebook to your website and general web pages is actually not that hard. Let's go ahead and show you. If you go to this URL here, Facebook widgets, you'll see that there. I'm going to go ahead and show you what that looks like. Facebook has already made it easy for us to go ahead and add things to our page, often called a profile page or even a photo badge. You can also create fan boxes, a live stream, meaning that you can show posts and updates if you want. And in fact, there's multiple options here. Let's just start, I'm going to show you a fan box, which is pretty simple. Let's go ahead and click on that. Okay, then you go ahead and select whatever page it is on Facebook, and then of course you can include the stream if you want, and also include the number of fans, which I'm going to encourage you to do, because let's say, for example, you go to somebody's page that is already on Facebook, and they have, they have a fan page. It adds credibility if they have a huge number of fans that are already following them. So that's essentially what we want to do. Let me go ahead and show you an example of this in action, actually. Here is a nice example of a fan box. You can see here this is actually on the person's website. pulled right in from Facebook, and it not only includes the box obviously to become a fan of the page, but also the most latest posts and also how many fans there are. This can be very appealing because if you have a couple hundred fans, people will see that, and it helps add credibility to your respectfulness as on your website. Of course, whether or not you show these things is totally up to you. You can select whether or not to have those or not. You could just have it be the simple little box if you like. So next, you choose where to add it. Of course, if you have a blog or blog, they make it even easier for that. Or if you, let's say that it's our own website, let's go ahead and click Advanced Options and see what that is. Okay, it gives you some more information basically on how to add it to your page. It really isn't that hard. It's basically just go ahead and cutting and pasting. If you're familiar with HTML, you'll select Other here and just copy that below and paste it right onto your website. If you need some help, I'm sure you can ask around in some forums, and it's a very simple thing to do. So that is how you go ahead and add your things to Facebook. Of course, if it's your profile page or a live stream, that it's going to be a little bit different, but it's basically the same thing. So I certainly encourage you to do that because it gains extra exposure, and you want to get as much as you can. That's what it's all about. Finding things to promote on Facebook. So now that we've talked all about how to use Facebook, you might be wondering to yourself, what am I going to sell on Facebook? Okay, well, I just wanted to give you some guidance on that. Obviously, you can be promoting your own products and services. I'm sure many of you are watching this video series with that in mind from the beginning, but some of you, maybe you've never tackled this type of thing before. So you can sell your own products and services. Affiliate products. If you don't have your own things, this is a great alternative. There are tons and tons of affiliate products out there. Let me just go ahead and show you an example. ClickBank, look at it. ClickBank.com is a huge, huge affiliate marketing center. It doesn't cost anything to sign up for here. And let's say, for example, that I'm going with the dog training approach. I just go ahead and do a search for dog training, and you can see here that some of these results aren't quite a good match. But here, Secrets to Dog Training. This is a product. It's actually a pretty popular one that I can go ahead and sell. And all I do is just have my affiliate link. It's a special link that ClickBank gives you. And then whenever somebody clicks on that and buys it, they pay $47 for the product. But then you actually get $31 of that. So it's incredible. You get 75% of the cost of the sale. That's amazing, and that's how a lot of affiliate marketing products are. A lot of people don't realize this. So there's nothing to ship. It's all electronic. So this is just one option that you have. You can also build a list with Facebook. Maybe that you don't want to be as upfront about selling, and you can just build a list. Maybe you have something to sell down the road. Certainly, the typical rules apply to building a list as far as you want to. You can use an email responder program such as Aweber to capture email addresses. Offer people maybe a free report or a free discount on something to get their email address, and then of course you can market to them over time. Look at what other people are doing. This is really important. Find other people in your niche and find their Facebook accounts, sign up, and just hang around and see what they're doing, what their angle is. Maybe it's something that would have never crossed your mind. There's certainly a lot to be said by studying other people that have been effective doing something. So keep that in mind.
Why you need to be using Facebook now. I emphasize the now there. Advantages include it is currently the most popular social network. This is huge. Social networking is basically, you hear people talking about, Web 2.0, social marketing, social networking. This is what it's all about. Facebook is the most popular place to go, and you will find that the traffic is incredible. People on it are used to Facebook marketing. When I say this, sometimes I know that I've dealt with spots in the internet where I try to market to people and they're not used to it. And of course, they're not going to be as accepting of it. Whereas with Facebook, there are a lot of businesses already on there, very well established, doing very well, meaning that we can go out there and do it, and people are going to be used to marketing. It's kind of like if you use the search engines. You're used to seeing ads on Google. So I don't want you to think that people only use Facebook to connect with friends, because Facebook is also a place where you can be selling things and you fit right in. Facebook has unique features that lend itself to marketing. We're going to talk about this specifically, but things like having a Facebook group, for example. There's an option where you can email everybody, private message on Facebook, everyone at once. You don't have to sit down and type everyone's individual email in. You can, bam, email them all at once. And again, this doesn't cost anything, so I think it's incredible that you can do those types of things. There's much, much more that we'll talk about as we move forward. It is easy to find targeted people for your niche. There are some tools that I'm going to share with you on how to search Facebook. There's some little tips and tricks on how to find people that are going to be, very similar to what you're promoting. Then, of course, you can hopefully get them to join your group or join you as a friend. And then, of course, you can, start to build a relationship with them and hopefully get them to buy something from you. So there are so many reasons that you should be using it, including that there are free apps to take your experience further. But there are a lot of people that design things strictly for Facebook, and they don't cost anything. And in fact, you might even consider making your own application. We'll talk about that a bit later. But essentially, there you go. There are a lot of good reasons that you should be using it. So I hope that you'll keep that in mind, and we'll go ahead and move forward. Using applications on Facebook. This is more of an advanced feature that we had not talked about, and I certainly wanted to mention it before I set you free here. Applications can be a very powerful way to interact with other people and also to gain a fan base. Let me go ahead and show you some examples by going to my Facebook account here. From your profile, just under the search box, you can go ahead and just do a regular search like you normally would. You can just search for dog, and we can filter the results by applications. You can see here these are things that people have made, and of course hopefully they've used it in a viral sense to gain traffic to their perhaps their website or their Facebook page or whatever. Here's one called Cute Dog Gifts. Let's go ahead and check that out. Applications can do a lot of different things. Okay, look at that. One of my friends is even using it, so it must be pretty popular. Okay, you can see reviews of what other people have said about the application. Not so good, this person said here. Okay, the application itself has a wall too, so that's interesting. Okay, so how do we go about then and use this application? What exactly does it do? Well, I'll show you. It depends, of course, on the application. It's a script, piece of software within Facebook. It allows you to send gifts to other people, basically. Applications do a number of different things. Of course, first you have to sign up for it. Okay, and it gives you an option. This is just how this application works. Of course, they're suggesting you can send your friends a gift on their birthday, maybe. Okay, and I get to pick what kind of dog I send to them. Okay, I'm gonna send two of my friends a dog. Okay. Just hit send, and that's it. So now what happens, this might seem a little bit strange, who wants to receive an animated little dog? Well, I'll tell you what, people that like dogs, we'll get into this stuff here. I can also publish it to my wall if I want to, but I'm not going to do that because this is all just, for test purposes anyway. But you see here what happened when I came here to look at the application. I'm exposed to these other ads, and these are things, some things that you can be helping to target. Okay, so you can make your own gift app in minutes. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But basically, some applications are gifts. Some of the applications allow you to make lists. There's tons and tons of different things. Let me show you an example of a more popular one. Those of you that are on Facebook, you've probably seen things like my top 5 favorite. That's what I should type in. Top favorite. Because these applications allow you to pick your top favorite whatever. My top favorite games. Oh, I'm sorry, that's actually a group. Sort by applications. Okay. Top sites, top characters, and there are literally tons and tons and tons of different applications that allow you to do all kinds of different things. So of course, how can you use this for yourself? Well, one thing you can do is you can develop an application from the ground up. You could go out and hire a coder to do that for you. You could do that by going to a place like Rent a Coder. You just type in Rent-A-Coder in the search engine here, you can see it come up there, rentacoder.com. And essentially, you would post a job and say, I want to create an application for Facebook. How much would this cost? And they outline what you would like it to do. And then what happens is by having your own application, it can be something that's unique to you. You can go ahead and spread it throughout Facebook. It actually can be a very powerful thing. However, there are some ways that you can piggyback off of other people's applications, and we're going to talk about that in the next video. Creating your own applications on Facebook. Okay, I started to talk in the last video about how you can go ahead and create your own applications from the ground up by hiring a coder, which of course can be pricey and time consuming, but there's also a way that you can go ahead and create your own application using some preset tools. Let me show you here. Make your own gift app. It's something that you can do. Okay, this is actually an application in and of itself, but it allows you to make other gifts. So it's not quite as complicated as making your own application from the ground up. A lot of it's already done for you. Let's say, for example, that I wanted to create that when I wanted to give away, let's see, Internet Marketing Awards. Okay. Of course, this isn't the best sell for dog lovers, right? But that's okay. This is just an example. Okay. So let's go ahead then and see how I can make gifts then. Let's say that I wanted to give an award for SEO. And then I could go out and find a picture of SEO and then upload it here. And then that would appear in my gifts, and then that would allow me to give this gift to other people. So what happens then is, your gifts can get passed around the net. It helps set you apart. I don't know anybody else that's giving away SEO gifts, so internet marketing people might think it's kind of cool, and then since they think it's cool, they pass it off to somebody else, and then somebody else sees that it came from you. So it kind of goes around the circle, and that's the point of applications. You can really tap into the viral nature of things. I'm sure, as you can imagine, the first person that thought up the idea of giving away little pictures of dogs that are animated, made a ton of money, or certainly at least a ton of friends on Facebook, because it's a great idea and people really embrace those types of things, especially online. This is the type of mindset that you need to get into when you're interacting with Facebook people. You want to think about the types of things that they would like receiving, and also the types of things that they would like sharing with their friends. So maybe you can make a list that would be something like, my top 5 internet marketing tips, and then somebody else would give other people the ability to make their own tips, and just things like that can be spread around, and of course with you being the source. So keep that in mind. It can certainly enhance your Facebook experience and allow you to take things forward. Creating a Facebook plan of action. Okay, we've talked about a lot here in this series, and I didn't want to leave you without giving you a more concise way to go about this. So let's go ahead and review what we've talked about in the forms of a master plan from start to finish. Okay, the first thing you need to do, of course, is set up your user account, and that would also include a fan page and a group for your business or your personality or whatever it is. Now, we talked about how you might want to wait to set up a group, but I would suggest from the very beginning having your own fan page. And from that, then you have a good base to start working. You want to go ahead and optimize your pages. Make sure that they are a good reflection for what you're trying to sell or what your end goal is. If your end goal is to build a list, make sure that your page reflects that and draws people towards that action. Of course, you want to make sure that your pages are exciting and they draw people in and they appeal and are a good match to the crowd that you're targeting. Next, you want to seek out friends. You can go ahead and use my advice to find targeted friends to your niche, which would include, going to similar groups, similar fan pages, and then, starting to interact with those types of people. Encourage friends to invite others. Once you start to get your own fan base, you want to do what you can to motivate your members to start inviting, their friends. You can do this by rewarding people, by, bringing friends in, or just, a simple action of, please help me spread the word. You'd be surprised how often that can work, to help build people just by asking others to, go out and bring somebody in to join the fun. You want to maintain constant interaction and make things exciting. This is incredibly important, especially in the beginning, because the more steam you can get early on, the quicker it's going to build. So keep that in mind. If you create a page and don't interact with anybody, people are going to be less inclined to try to interact with you, and that's it's an important part. This is social networking, not stay behind a curtain and don't ever come out. So that's not going to work on social networking. Promote outside of Facebook. We talked about ways to promote Facebook outside of here, things such as your website, your blogs, it's very easy to integrate Facebook. In fact, they provide you tools so you can do that. Finally, once you have a formula that works, you want to rinse and repeat. Why not have two different Facebook accounts and two different niches? You certainly can do that. And of course, if it's difficult for you to maintain one, hire somebody else to help you out with that once you start to see, more of a return on your efforts. So that's basically, the master plan. I encourage you to go through things again and just think about how this all fits in your business, and more importantly, get out there and do it. I wanted to thank you for viewing this video series. I really hope that you'll get out there and start using these tools, because Facebook is an incredible way to get traffic and to really build and spread word about your business, whatever it may be. Of course, the big difference here is I think this is all great advice, and it works well for people. However, the big thing is, if you want to succeed, you have to get out there and do it. So please keep that in mind. I can't tell you how many training videos or series I've purchased that I haven't done anything with, and that's a real shame, because obviously I'm not going to succeed unless I do something. So I think sometimes we can get carried away and move on to the next big thing before taking the first thing forward. So you got to believe me. Facebook can help you become very successful, but it does take the time and dedication to do that. So I hope that you'll follow the techniques outlined in this video series, and I'll see you out there. Have fun.
Facebook for individuals. Before we start talking about how we're going to, explore Facebook as far as making money, I think it's important to understand why a lot of people initially get into Facebook, because a big part of Facebook is people reconnecting with friends from the past. Essentially, right now I'm at an actor's page, Vin Diesel, very popular actor. But just wanted to use this as an example. Basically, what people do is they'll sit down and they can do things like enter their school or their college that they went to, and then they can find other people that, of course, did the same thing, and then bam, you're connected with people. So it's an interesting opportunity there. I know that one thing that I have found really cool was, I find a few friends on here, and then I look at the friends that they have, and then I'm also reminded of more people that I know, and it's one of those things that just continues to build as you gain more friends. So people do that. People also do things as far as like interests. Like let's say that you have a dog, so that might mean that you might join some type of dog group. So if I have a friend, of course, that's done this, and I also like dogs, I see that my friend is in it, and then I want to be in it too. So Facebook has this viral nature of things, whereas I'm very connected to what my friends are doing. So because I get to see that, then of course I'll join in as well. And this is very, very popular. People sit down on Facebook and they get excited to try new things, to learn new things. And what better way to see what your friends are doing? So what happens is, it doesn't take much to get the ball rolling. Once people get interested in something, then other people hop on board too. So the goal here is going to be, for us to create something viral, to create something of value, and to find people that are going to be a good match for it. That's basically what pulls individual people into Facebook. Even though it might start as something as simple as reconnecting with old friends, there's a lot more to it, and we'll get into that as we move forward.